Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's show, no matter where you are across New South Wales, for this very exciting opportunity to celebrate the role of nursing and midwifery in the New South Wales health system. It's really hard to talk about the wonderful nursing and midwifery workforce without thinking about the past 2 and a bit years now and the COVID pandemic. The role that nurses and midwives have played in the pandemic is really something for us to think about going forward over the years as to how we recognise and record those efforts, because it has been exceptional. And for that, I thank each and every one of you. As you would be aware, even the Nursing and Midwifery Awards for 2021 were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, the event had to be postponed for the first time in its history since it began 9 years ago. I'm very proud to say that as the former Chief Nursing and Midwifery Officer, I started the awards back then, and it's something that I've always been incredibly proud of. To each and every one of you who are here today as finalists, my congratulations to you for the efforts that you have put into your career as a nurse or a midwife. It is an exceptional professions to be a part of, and something that I still hold very close to my heart still to this day as a registered nurse. As you will see during the show, my former secretary and friend Elizabeth Koff was delighted to announce the finalists and winners for the 2021 program, and still obviously features in this process to recognise her strong and ongoing support for the nurses and midwives across New South Wales. I know that this is a highly anticipated event. We're absolutely delighted to be able to bring this to you today. Can I say that there has never been a more significant time to be sharing these successes with each other, to look after each other as friends and colleagues, as we continue to work through the challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought upon our health system and our communities. Each and every one of us have been touched by it, so it is extra nice to be able to do things like this today. Unfortunately, none of us are spared from this. I'm sitting at home today because I'm also in isolation as a consequence of the pandemic and the isolation rules. So no matter where you are and what you do, it has touched and impacted each and every one of us. My congratulations to the Nursing and Midwifery Office again for the work that goes into this show. I wish you all well, and please enjoy the afternoon.
Hello and welcome to the 2021 Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Awards. Like most things last year, these awards are a little bit different, and we've chosen to postpone the celebrations until now. And that's because we want you to have the opportunity to come together to celebrate. And the beauty of having a virtual award like we did last year is that you can come together. So I'm imagining right now you sitting with your colleagues in meeting rooms, auditoriums, and in offices across the state. So we're going to hear from all of the finalists in each of the 8 categories. And we're going to be announcing the winners live. So I expect to hear a collective roar across the state as we announce those finalists and the winners of this year's awards. So let's get started, shall we?
Warami, Nia Elise McCarthy McPhan, a proud Darug and Bidjigal woman of the Eora Nation. I would like to acknowledge all traditional custodians of the lands in which we, as New South Wales Health staff, work in each day. Our connection to country is intrinsic. It is our being. It is our connection to our ancestors, our dreaming. It is through our connection to country that we, as nurses and midwives, are able to draw on the strength to be the voice for our people. Biri wagal na niya, nyun yal galani, nyun bamarad bangani. So please walk with me to respect the elders, both past and present, and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people working within New South Wales Health today. Please collaborate with us to lead lasting change to my people, whose land it is, was, and will always be. Didjurigara.
That inspirational acknowledgement of country was from our Principal Advisor for Aboriginal Nursing and Midwifery Strategy, Elise McCarthy McPhan. So I too would like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of the first inhabitants of the nation, and the traditional custodians of the lands where we live, learn and work. So now it's time to celebrate achievement, inspiration and professionalism in the 9th Annual Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Awards, and to find out who the winners are. So to do that, we're going to be joined throughout the show by various special guests, including the Minister for Health and Medical Research, Brad Hazzard, the Secretary of New South Wales Health, Elizabeth Coff, and the Deputy Secretary for People, Culture and Governance, Mr Phil Minns, and of course other special guests. One of the great things about streaming this show in this format is that it means all of you out there, all over New South Wales and possibly beyond, can be a part of the celebrations. So we'd love for you to tweet and post along, and remember to hashtag exceptional care and hashtag EINMA 2021. We're kicking off the show with the award for the nurse or midwife new to practice, the newest members of our health team who arrived in the job in the midst of the pandemic. So in spite of COVID last year, more than 2,800 new graduate nurses and midwives were recruited across all our local health districts and networks. Our graduate nurses and midwives really are our future. So let's hear from the 2021 finalists for the New to Practice Award.
I currently work in the outpatient opiate treatment program. We've got patients that come in for daily medication that deals with their opioid addiction. We also have patients that come in for alcohol treatment. Working with vulnerable people has taught me that everyone has their own story and we should all listen to what their past experiences have been and how it's shaped who they are. When I see a patient responding to my treatment, I feel like my job is very meaningful and it's very rewarding. It's making a difference in their life, and that's what us nurses are here for. I wouldn't pick any other area of nursing.
I feel like I really pride myself on the care that I do give patients because I feel like it reflects back on myself as a nurse. I really put my all in and give the patients the best I can. So starting nursing at the start of COVID has been a very interesting time. I started in the emergency department, so I haven't known nursing without COVID, but it hasn't scared me away from nursing, and I look forward to what the future nursing looks like. She demonstrates critical thinking and the ability to problem solve beyond a graduate nurse. It feels really special, especially coming from an educator. I feel like it makes me look up to them and want to be and do what they do for other people, like future nurses like myself.
From a very young age, I've always had a passion for looking after people. I've always wanted to take care of people, especially in that vulnerable time when they're not well. Also, my sister's a nurse, so I've always looked up to her, and I've just sort of followed her footsteps, and she had interesting stories at the dinner table, and I thought nursing is a career that I'd like to do, yeah, especially looking after people and being compassionate as well. Yeah, being a new graduate nurse and just starting out my career, I feel like there's a lot that I'm going to learn. There's a lot of things to experience as well. I feel like the future just has so much for me, and I'm looking forward to just growing and learning as a nurse. Yeah.
What an inspiring lineup of new practice finalists. Congratulations to all of you. And the first winner in today's 2021 Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Awards for the New to Practice Award is Sonia Kokaroo from Bankstown Lidcombe Hospital.
Having won the award, I felt shocked. I'm also quite motivated and excited as well. I would like to thank New South Wales Health for putting together this Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Award, everyone involved. I would also like to thank all my colleagues and staff at Bankstown Lidcombe Hospital, including all my managers, educators, and just colleagues. In addition, a special mention will go to lovely Anne Remescal, who actually nominated me for this award. Thank you. Being a new graduate nurse, we all started our career in the beginning of the global pandemic, and we've all shown that we can be really resilient. I believe that any one of the new graduate nurses is capable, if not more capable, of winning the award.
It's a medical occupation. They help people recover from being sick or hurt. Nurses help people with injuries and mental issues. A doctor to help animals. That's a vet.
It's someone who gives you medication and they help you at the hospital.
What were nurses like when you were having your operation?
Oh, I was asleep, so I couldn't see them. A person who's in the middle of their life. It helps deliver the babies. My mum helps the mom deliver a baby so she doesn't have to do all the work.
Maybe, because I would like to help lots of people.
I have other jobs that I'm better at, like YouTube. You have to be careful so that you don't make it worse or something.
It would be a pretty hectic job.
To all the nurses who have helped people with COVID, I want to say thank you. Thank you for helping us.
Thank you. You've done an amazing job with everyone who's being sick, vaccinating people, and you're really helping all of our lives.
I would like to say thank you to the midwives for delivering the babies. You guys are saving the world. Here is in New South Wales, Minister for Health, Honourable Brad Hazzard.
It's great to be here for the Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Awards. It's my honour to be a part of these very important awards that acknowledge and celebrate the huge contributions nurses and midwives make every year for the people of New South Wales. In a year which was impacted from the effects of the life-changing COVID pandemic, which I'm sure we all have felt with great challenge, all the nurses and midwives of New South Wales have continued to excel and indeed respond in ways that really have showcased the fundamental role you all play at the very centre of our healthcare system. It's hard to put into words how important you all are and how grateful we all are for your commitment and dedication. I want to offer my personal thanks and congratulations to every nurse and every midwife in New South Wales for the incredible role you've played in our, what I think is a world-class healthcare system. And despite the unpredictable nature of COVID and its extensive impact on our community, you have held fast to the job of providing care and keeping people safe. Now you're about to hear from 4 articulate, passionate and committed nurses who between them care for children, the elderly and the vulnerable. And all of them making an impressive impact on their patients and their families. Here are the 2021 finalists for the Nurse of the Year Award.
The reward of working in acute mental health care supremely outweighs the challenges. Being able to be there for someone when they're at that point in their life and being able to assist them to work towards where they want to go is fantastic. While working in mental health, there's been loads of situations where I've been able to witness and assist people to get to a really good outcome. Sam works endlessly at reducing stigma against people with mental health illness and promotes education on supporting this vulnerable population group to assimilate into the community in which they live. Being able to see the suffering and then having a pathway to actually create a therapeutic relationship with them to move them forwards towards recovery.
I work in a mental health unit, so Cumberland is a mental health facility, and I work with the most complex and challenging clients possibly in the state, with impaired by the illness, and our job is to get them well enough to back and functioning the best they possibly can. I'm extremely proud to be a nurse because it's something that I love doing, and it's not what I can get out of this, what I can offer the person. Nursing is a profession I'm very proud of because I cannot see people suffer. Regardless of what they're suffering through, how can I help you through this? How can I make things better for you, with you? As difficult as the day may be, I go home smiling because I've made a difference in someone's life today.
I've been lucky over the last 5 or so years that I've had the opportunity to have some good support to get some wellbeing initiatives off the ground. One of the important ones was the Acute Incident Response Program. We were fortunate to get the program published in the Journal of Emergency Nursing, which is one of the US emergency nursing journals, and to see it work so meaningfully it's something I haven't experienced in the same way as the AIR program with many other things. My experience of working in nursing has totally defined my life, and I've got amazing things in my life outside of work. I would struggle to break away from my identity as an emergency nurse, and I'm quite okay with that because I love it and I love what I get to do.
My passion is about nursing excellence, outstanding care, and to be able to support other nurses to discover that through research, evidence-based practice, and to then practice it and implement it is absolutely what drives me. The motivation for that really comes from the trust that patients place in nurses and the nursing profession. And if patients place that amount of trust in us, I think we're absolutely obliged to strive for excellence.
All those finalists you've just heard from exemplify the incredible attributes of nursing, the very best of nursing. Can I say it's really great from my point of view to have had, as amongst the finalists, a couple of practitioners from the regions, one from the Hunter, one from Broken Hill, and particularly working in mental health, and of course one from St Vincent's, one who's involved in innovation, and another who has been working in emergency medicine. Those areas are very challenging. I learned a long while ago to always be respectful of nurse unit managers and nurse educators, but I want to say I'm respectful of all of these finalists and think they are incredible. So, Nurse of the Year is Joanne Taylor from St Vincent's Health Network.
How does it feel? It feels unbelievable, perplexing, somewhat confusing. I am thrilled, however, that it hopefully is reflective of what nurse leaders at our organisation have managed to achieve in the last couple of years. I would like to thank my family, my husband Peter and sons Ash and Louis, my team, my broader colleagues, to our Director of Nursing, to the patients that I've had the honour to care for over the years. It's really our patients that teach us about life and about ourselves like no other. If that's not a privilege, I don't know what is. And finally, to the profession, to all nurses in New South Wales, thank you for what you give each day in your roles. Remember why you became a nurse, hold on to that tightly, and use that and let that be your motivation to strive for all that you wish to achieve in your career.
My sincere congratulations to the Nurse of the Year. It is a delight to hear from someone who truly relishes providing exceptional care to consumers and inspires colleagues along the way. 2021 was many things to many people. For our nurses and midwives, it was at times very tough as COVID continued its unrelenting campaign around the world. For your sustained and committed efforts, thank you. The work you do and the results you achieve do not go unnoticed. But 2021 brought us other things too. It marked the 20th anniversary of the Aboriginal Nursing and Midwifery Strategy here in New South Wales. As I'm here to present the Aboriginal Nurse or Midwife of the Year, it has caused me to reflect on our ongoing commitment to closing the gap and to making a real and sustainable difference for Aboriginal families and communities. One of the key priorities to achieve this is increasing the Aboriginal nursing and midwifery workforce. That started 20 years ago when New South Wales Health welcomed its first intake of Indigenous nursing and midwifery cadets, and every year since then we have welcomed more. Cadetship applications are accompanied by covering letters from would-be candidates that explain why they want to work as a nurse or midwife. The letters are inspiring, insightful, and full of heart, hope, and love for their communities.
Being born and raised in Bourke.
Born and raised in Wilcannia.
Raised in Sydney.
My family's from Poona, Kamilaroi country.
I'm extremely proud about my Aboriginal heritage. The more opportunities that I'm presented with, the more opportunities I can give back to my community. I have known from a very young age that I wanted to work in the health industry. I was 7 years of age. I've dreamed of being a midwife. I'm an auntie to 6, a little sister to 7, and a big sister to 2.
I have realised my passion is to care for others.
I always wanted a career where I could help people, going out to work in rural and remote communities to help both my colleagues and patients in providing better healthcare for our people and further close the gap.
My nana, my mum, my great-grandparents all wanted change to happen, but it never did because of the ability to access and obtain knowledge was restricted, and it's something I want to work for.
I think that is extremely important to have Aboriginal nurses and midwives. I believe that many Aboriginal people relate better to people of their own culture.
I also feel we need to be role models for other young Indigenous people.
My mum always said that if you want to see something done, then make the change and take action, because action speaks louder than words.
I want to be an agent for positive change to the lives of Indigenous women and their babies.
I hope to one day give back to the community that has given me so much.
I think that video goes some way to explaining the Aboriginal nursing and midwifery strategy truly has the capacity to change the lives of Aboriginal people in New South Wales. From mental health to emergency departments and remote community health care, here are the finalists for the Aboriginal Nurse or Midwife of the Year for 2021.
Putting people first is the best way to nurse. If you can't make people
feel comfortable and you can't build a relationship with them, they won't trust you, so therefore you won't be able to help them as they need to be helped. So there's always something people will hold back because until they develop a sense of trust with you. And to get the full picture, you need to have a trusting relationship. You have to do that within 10-15 minutes in emergency, and that's what makes an emergency nurse so special. Casey has the natural ability to gather followers and is always focused on quality outcomes. Casey comes from a place of respect and is always compassionate.
We see people in their homes primarily and then provide them support, intervention and home-based treatment. On the hard days and the challenging moment, you look at health through their eyes and the challenges that they've got. And I do remember someone saying to me, look at the small improvements, the small wins, and it really resonated with me. So it's that light when you see someone and they tell you their story and then they realise that they're in the right spot.
I worked in Wilcannia for 15 years. It's got 2 beds in the ED, it's got 8 beds in the aged care respite part. We got the ambulance service, so we got to look after the ambulance, and there's times I drove the ambulance and went on ambulance calls. And I was actually on a day off and my actor manager rang and said, oh, can you come here? You need to be here about 10 o'clock. And I went there. All the big bosses was on the TV and I was like, oh gee, what have I done wrong? And then, they said about the award and that, and I was so embarrassed. It was a good feeling and, really appreciative. I think the biggest thing is like getting this award just makes you want to be better and do more and more.
When I was 17, I had leukemia and sort of was in hospital long term for 12 months pretty much. And I had some amazing nurses during my time getting treatment, and that sort of pulled me towards nursing and thought, this is a fantastic career to go into. I can definitely make a difference. Being Aboriginal or non-Aboriginal coming into the emergency department is something that's scary, and just to have a familiar face like myself for my community, I think that makes a real difference for Aboriginal people when they come into the emergency department. I really enjoy, just go and have a yarn to them and trying to make their journey through the hospital that little bit better, just to sort of lighten the mood a bit for them.
And the winner of this year's Aboriginal Nurse or Midwife of the Year is Dawn Evans for her tireless and passionate work in the Far West Local Health District.
Having won Aboriginal Nurse of the Year is just amazing, and it's made me think more of increasing my future in nursing. I would like to thank all my work colleagues in Wilcannia and whoever nominated me. It's just great that they've recognised the good work I've done. I don't know, I just think I'm overwhelmed. It's just, all happened too quick and unexpectedly, and achieving something and being able to, help people is just beautiful. And the outcome, when you get a good outcome, you don't always get a good outcome, but you're helping people, and that moves me. I think my passion for, I just love people and love looking after people and love achieving things, I suppose. I think nurses just do a brilliant job, and they need to be recognised and, rewarded for what they do.
Choosing the finalists and winners for the Nursing and Midwifery Awards is never an easy task. So I'd like to pay special thanks to the awards judges who had the pleasure and some of the pain of doing just that for 2021. It was, as always, a highly competitive field, and selecting finalists and winners was a tough job. So now it's time to shine a light on our magnificent midwives. And I'm joined today by the Nursing and Midwifery Office's Principal Advisor for Midwifery, Kelly Lennon.
Thanks, Jackie.
So Kelly, thanks for being with us today. And we all know what a committed group of people our midwives are and what a special job that they have. Do you think it takes a special quality for somebody to become a midwife?
I think midwives are known for their care and their compassion. We're passionate about women-centred care. I think we have fun. Sometimes we have a wicked sense of humour. And I think we're strong and resilient. Usually our job is full of love and wonderment and joy, but when it's sad, it's devastating.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what made you become a midwife?
I know it sounds corny, but I think midwifery was my calling. I've always wanted to be a midwife. My beautiful Nana remembers me as a 5-year-old little girl sitting on her lap saying, one day when I grow up, I'm going to deliver babies to mummies. Now, I don't know where that came from for a 5-year-old, but I've always loved my job. I've never once wanted to be in anything other than the profession of midwifery. I feel really proud to be a midwife.
It's lovely, Kelly, and it shows. You've been such a wonderful advocate for midwifery practice right across the state. So now, to illustrate some of the things that we've been talking about, here's a little insight into a day in the life of a New South Wales health midwife.
So I'm just going to feel your tummy to see if I can feel it coming at the moment. How have you been feeling? Are you getting any contractions? Yeah, more intense. More intense, yeah. I'm just going to reposition this one if that's okay. But just take it step by step and see how you go. Just the midwives.
So, is it okay if I just touch your tummy, Jermaine?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just feeling for the position above.
Okay.
So on this side, so I'm feeling your back over here. And I can kind of feel a little bottom because the whole back moves when I do it. So your baby is laying across here like this.
Oh,
super
cute. Good morning. She knows that when she's at the breast that she feels secure, that she feels comfortable, and this is a very happy place for her. They know what they're supposed to do, and if we allow them to actually do what they're meant to do, then they can latch really well. I'm so happy things are going well.
So scenes like that play out all over New South Wales every day, don't they, Kelly?
Yes, they do, Jackie. So day in and day out, midwives go to work. And not to mention long nights when little babies like to slip into the world. And midwives get to make a huge difference to many families across New South Wales. Whenever I get to meet a new mum, they always share with me the fond memories of their midwives that helped them during their pregnancy, their birth and their early days of being a parent. We're really lucky and privileged to be involved.
So a big thank you to Nepean Hospital for letting us film them at work. And as we can see, midwives love what they do, and they're so committed to supporting women, babies and their families through the birth journey. And now, here are the finalists for the 2021 Midwife of the Year.
My attitude is always to apply my golden rule, is to treat others how you wanted to be treated, regardless of what background they are. Because when I did my training in England, I had a pretty hard time. I nearly quit because of the treatment. So I told myself that I would never do it to anybody, even though I've been treated that way. She is the midwife that you want beside you during an emergency situation. She's the midwife that you want caring for you during your loss. She will comfort and support you during possibly the worst day of your life. And you will truly transform your experience. If my younger self saw me sitting here, she'll be very proud.
You know, my birth was very dramatic. It was a big emergency. And I've always had the line that like my life started as an obstetric emergency with alarm bells going off, and some days it feels like it's just the same. There's been some really memorable moments in my career, and some of them are really happy moments. And as midwives, we also get to be part of really beautiful but very sad moments. So it's about making sure that, or caring for them in a way that makes them feel really supported and empowered.
Midwifery is completely full of surprises. No 2 days are the same. Just that miracle of birth, every single time, is a surprise. And I always say that I think it's probably the closest thing to a miracle you ever get to see. I'm proud to be a midwife because I am so honoured to be part of a woman's journey. This award is about me, but it's not really about me. It's about everybody that I work with that come together as a team to work collaboratively to give the best outcome for women that we can. It's the village that, makes the midwife, not the individual.
Wow, there were 3 amazing midwives there, weren't there, Kelly?
Absolutely. I feel so proud to be in the profession that I'm in, particularly when I get to see great examples like that every day.
And now, Kelly, will you please do the honour of announcing 2021's winner?
My pleasure. The winner of the Midwife of the Year award is Claire Devonport from Canterbury Hospital.
I'm very surprised, very humbled, very honoured. So I would like to thank Fran O'Brien, who's the Director of Nursing at Canterbury, mostly because she knows I don't like being told no. And she'll say, yeah, mate, we'll get it done, we've just got to find a way. Catherine Dunphy is our clinical midwifery consultant. She's probably the voice of reason. I was really lucky where I was given the opportunity to be a manager and to be able to bring everything that I love about midwifery, continuity, woman-centeredness, culturally appropriate care, really individualised care, the opportunity to, as a manager, make that available to more women. I think this award just acknowledges all of the passion and hard work that we as midwives provide. I just really want to thank all of the midwives that have supported me and helped me achieve the vision that we've wanted to achieve for the women in our care. What am I going to name my trophy? Wow, my trophy will be named Small Things, Great Love. So we can all do small things, but with great love.
Congratulations to all the winners and finalists so far today. I'm pleased to be a part of these important awards where we pay tribute to our nurses and midwives and celebrate their incredible contributions. Being a nurse or midwife in New South Wales Health, particularly over the past 2 years, is one of the most important and impactful jobs in our community. You have changed lives and you have saved lives. My role today is to present the award for Team of the Year. The award is for a team that really stood out in 2021. There were many amazing team stories in the nominations, featuring collaboration, compassion, and exceptional communication that ensured patients and their families and carers got the care they needed from our highly skilled teams. This award is not only about excellent bedside care, it is also about the leadership, flexibility and focus of teams who work day and night 7 days a week for their patients, their facility or hospital, and for their community. The 3 team finalists featured now highlight the knowledge, skill and true humanity of our nursing and midwifery workforce.
So our ward is a geriatric ward, so it's predominantly patients 75 and above. We also specialise in a behavioural unit, so we have a separate area for patients with challenging behaviours, so a lot of patients with dementia, that type of thing. I think to be nominated as Team of the Year, I don't need anything more personally, but for the staff, I think it's just fantastic because it acknowledges all that hard work that they've done. How they go about, providing that, I suppose, additional patient care to all of our patients, regardless of who they are or where they're from. I mean, they actually do enjoy coming to work, every day. Maybe not every day.
Special health accommodation is one branch of the hotel quarantine system that has been providing a COVID-19 response and supporting our travellers returning from overseas, our interstate travellers. Peter Liniger and I work together as the co-directors of nursing for special health accommodation. I think the special health accommodation team is extremely deserving of the award because they have shown how responsive, how agile, how extremely dedicated and hardworking they are as individuals and also as a greater team. And we've been fortunate enough to be able to reunite families, reunite friends, and actually celebrate with them, with the patients themselves.
So the incident response team is myself and Rachel McFarlane. Both our backgrounds are emergency nursing, and that's where we first started working together. It'll be our 20th anniversary coming up shortly. I should get her something nice. Really, incident response and disaster management, you just have to be flexible. You need to be prepared for everything and anything, down to the point where we, tongue-in-cheek, wrote our zombie apocalypse plan. Their commitment to not only keeping our patients safe, but fostering a fun, positive workplace culture in the team during some of the hardest days I have had as a nurse has been a testament to their leadership and strength of character. Trying not to cry. I never expected in my entire career to be doing the things that we've done, but we haven't been doing it alone, and we've been supported by our colleagues across the organisation and across the state.
I'm sure you will join me in acknowledging these fantastic teams as our finalists for 2021. Thank you and congratulations again to all of you. The winner of our Team of the Year award for 2021 is the Special Health Accommodation Nursing Team from the Sydney Local Health District.
I would like to thank each and every one of our SHA nursing workforce team. We'd also like to thank Teresa Anderson, our Chief Executive, for her support and leadership throughout the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and also our General Manager, Joseph Jewett. To win Team of the Year for 2021, I am truly so excited, as all the team of Special Health Accommodation are. Over the last 2 years, it's been a really challenging time. It's great to be recognised for all those hours and hard work and commitment we've all provided to ensure New South Wales is safe.
My congratulations to all the finalists and winners so far today, and to all those who are watching today. I want to thank you for your interest and support of our wonderful nurses and midwives. I'm here to present the award for Leader of the Year. It's an award named in honour of the first Chief Nurse in New South Wales, Judith Mepham, whose own leadership and insight did much to raise the profile of nursing and midwifery, a legacy we continue to build on today. Being a strong and transformational leader in times of uncertainty is hard, but it has been a true privilege to see nurses and midwives respond to the COVID pandemic and find new ways to care, new ways to lead, and new ways to make a difference. Your continued contributions and commitment are exceptional. Please know how grateful I am for your dedication and commitment over such a sustained and intense time. I'd like to acknowledge the focused and strong work of nursing and midwifery leaders across New South Wales, tasked with helping to oversee and implement New South Wales Health's response to COVID-19. So now to the finalists for the Judith Mepham Leadership Award 2021. 3 exemplary leaders who are inspirational examples of health professionals at their best.
I think, if you can lead a ward and lead a group of healthcare professionals to positive patient outcome and they're happy with their patient journey, I guess that's what that good leadership looks like. Workplace culture I try and achieve for my team, it's just positivity. I mean, when you have a positive approach to things, and when you have a happy disposition, things just go better. So I try and just keep everybody positive. Obviously, be serious when we need to, but be able to have a laugh and a joke and make that environment just that little bit more pleasant to be in when we can.
I'm approaching the end of my nursing and midwifery career, and to have started off as a student nurse, 40 years ago, and to have achieved the pinnacle of my success as being the Executive Director of Nursing and Midwifery for this district and for this Nursing and Midwifery leadership team fills me with an amazing amount of joy, especially with such a prestigious nomination for this award, is a recognition, I think, for me, that I must have done quite a bit right. Her willingness to go above and beyond without hesitation makes her one of the most respected and admired people in the district. Now, what are you going to do when I start sobbing when I read these things? Because I try very hard not to do this, but this is where I'm going. This is overwhelming, that people think so highly of you.
My careers advisor said, you won't be any good at nursing. And I thought, okay, I'm going to prove this careers officer wrong. So I went into nursing and absolutely loved it, and actually found that was the profession for me to stay in, especially me as a male midwife. It's a privileged position to be working in maternity with women and children. I'm passionate about working with students and new graduate midwives because I want them to reach their full potential. I like to see opportunities. I like to see growth. I like to see people progress. I guess that's part of the leadership role, is to actually give direction. There is a lot of potential in each individual, and I want to make sure that potential that comes out.
The winner of the Judith Mepham Leadership Award is Deborah Cameron from the Illawarra Shoalhaven Local Health District.
I am just blown away. I'm incredibly honoured to have received this recognition. It is something that I will be immensely proud of for the rest of my life. I'm blessed with people around me that actually make my star shine. To my Chief Executive, who had the faith and the confidence in me to appoint me to this role, I'll be forever grateful. To my executive colleagues who are there all the time to support me, to my direct team, could not have done this without them. The personal assistance that I've had through my entire career, and also to my family, my husband and my mother, for setting me on this pathway to be a nurse. I'm proud to be a nurse and a midwife because I can make a difference. And if you truly believe that you can make a difference, everyone can be a leader in their own right. I have that faith in the nursing and midwifery profession moving on into the future. And our future is very bright. We will get through this, we will come out the other side, and our nursing and midwifery profession will never be stronger.
It's a type of virus. It's a virus. It's a coronavirus. COVID is actually from 2019. That's why it has a 19. Green with little spikes sticking out. COVID is like little creatures, but you can actually not see them. You can only see them with a microscope.
Nurses have been really busy since they had to help a lot of people in ICU, and they were also making the vaccination things.
Nurses have been really important for COVID, so everyone stays happy and healthy.
And also there's different types of COVID, but the COVID that we're talking about is human COVID. She's more smarter than me. I'm not that smart.
You're not that smart.
No. But I do know that dogs used to be wolves.
So we're on the home stretch now and just 2 more awards to present. One of the things that I'm most proud of about the nurses and midwives is their enduring support for one another. The team spirit that they display is exceptional, working together to care for patients, carers and their families, and always keeping an eye out for each other. To celebrate this team spirit, last year we introduced the Healing Heart Colleague Award, which enables colleagues to nominate one another for their work and their achievements. So here are the outstanding finalists for the 2021 Healing Heart Colleague Award.
I did not realise that my colleagues had nominated me and they had kept it secret. You know, what you're doing is part of your day-to-day work as a nurse, but for people to see that you do kind of make a difference and, you know, do a little bit extra and to be rewarded with that was pretty amazing. I like knowing that I can make a difference, or know that, you know, if someone says thank you at the end of the consult, you know that you've done the best for them and made them feel kind of welcomed and appreciated and heard.
Backstory is my grandfather was a doctor. Poor man had to suffer this 5-year-old dressed in a nurse's uniform, going to his medical practice every school holidays, as did his receptionist, to be a nurse. There's no one thing that I can put my finger on to say what is so heartening about the job that I do. I just want to do it. I want to look after people and support them. Meg displays a level of compassion, respect and commitment to every person. Oh, bless Sandra. Sorry, you're making me cry. Look, I'm humbled. I really am. Again, I do what I do because I love doing it. So to actually hear them say that, I'm really humbled. I've followed my dream and I'm living my dream. I guess that's why I'm proud to be a nurse.
Far West has been very rewarding to me. I think I've got more out of it than I've put into it, put it that way. He is kind, compassionate and caring. Nothing is ever too much trouble for Tim. For Tim, excellence is not merely a skill, it's an attitude. I like to adopt a positive attitude. I like to see the good in everything. I work on the old assumption, you know, you don't really know anyone until you actually sit down and have a conversation. And I encourage all my graduate nurses to actually do that. Talk with their patients. You'll learn more in a 15-minute conversation than you ever will from just reading notes and everything.
What an impressive group of finalists. Their humility and gratitude is wonderful to see. And the winner of the first ever Healing Heart Colleague Award for 2021 is Tim O'Neill from Far West Local Health District.
It's an honour and a privilege to not only be nominated but you know, to win such an award. It rates very highly, not just from a personal point of view but professionally. So the one thing I'm really proud of myself is my resilience. I'm very honoured. I'm very thankful, you know, for the nomination from my colleagues. I would like to thank the Far West LHD Nursing and Midwifery Directorate. You can't do it alone. Definitely like to thank the New South Wales Nursing and Midwifery Office. They're a wonderful group of individuals that you know, help us to do what we do across the state from a nursing and midwifery point of view.
Everything nurses and midwives do is for patients, women, their families and carers, and of course our communities. Exceptional care for the consumers of our healthcare system is our driving force and our very reason for coming to work each and every day. For the last award of the day, the Consumer-nominated Healing Heart Award, I'm joined by a very special co-presenter, last year's Healing Heart Consumer Award winner, Mike Smith. Mike works with vulnerable members in the community who are HIV positive as part of the South Eastern Sydney LHD team. So Mike, can you tell us, what did winning the award last year mean to you?
After 30 years of working as a nurse, over 30 years, it really just gave an acknowledgement that the work we do is so valuable, and to be able to not only, I think, save someone's life, but we actually change people's lives. And to hear that from someone who nominated me forward and to be successful, it's just so humbling. And I think the key thing to it all is I know I'm just one of so many nurses who do amazing things in their jobs, and I was just fortunate enough to be, nominated and win the award.
What was it like when you heard that you were the winner?
Oh, it was amazing, to watch it remotely. I booked out our little conference room and set up the computer, and some of my colleagues came and watched, and I was watching the two other finalists, thinking how amazing they were, and both would have been worthy winners themselves.
Yep.
And I was trying to sit there and contain my excitement because I didn't know the result. And I remember just sitting there thinking, be humble, don't be too excited, accept that you might lose. And then when my name was called out, it was just, I couldn't contain how happy I was, and the tears, and just really a recognition of, what had been a tough year with COVID, and amazing, to be with nurses who'd worked in that position and providing care through what I think some of the toughest times. But yeah, I was like a little kid.
And it's obviously stayed with you for the 12 months, because I can still see the excitement.
Yeah, it is. All my colleagues jumped up and down, and people were coming in to ask what was happening from other teams. And it was a really good feeling. So it was really satisfying. Yeah, it was a nice way to celebrate.
Yeah, really special.
It was very special.
I think as nurses, we sometimes find it hard to hear the feedback that's given to us.
Oh, very much so. And I think, you often reflect and remember what doesn't go well. Yeah. And to actually have this thrust in front of you and to really acknowledge that, it's a special job, and we provided a very amazing position to be, given a part of people's lives for this really tough time, and to be able to help them to negotiate and to improve, and if it doesn't as well, to be there when it's really, really bad. And I think it's just a really, it's humbling again.
Yeah, you hear that word humbling a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to think of a wide word. It's humbling.
No, I think it sums it up really nicely. And on that note, let's meet the finalists for the Healing Heart Consumer Award.
In my position, working within palliative care, it's the most rewarding in that it allows me to empower patients and their families to uphold someone's wishes to stay at home for their end-of-life care. I would like to nominate Nicole Davis, as she was the most beautiful, caring and compassionate nurse I have ever come across. She tended to my mother during her last week of life with the utmost compassion and care, and it was the added little personal touches that certainly didn't go unnoticed. For me, when I go to work each day, it is that classic saying of we can make a difference through such little things, and if through just one thing I do through that day it brings a smile to somebody's face, then I know I've done a good job.
When you go through your career and somebody makes an impression on you and you think, I'd like to be just like her when I grow up, or I'd like to be... I had someone like that, a mentor in my life, or someone who I idolised, wanted to be like when I was a student. And she was always calm, nothing ever, she never ever looked panicked. Even though I knew she was sometimes, she never looked it. And I always wanted to be just like that. As soon as you start to raise your voice, as soon as panic and fear starts to come, panic and fear comes into the room. And when panic and fear comes into the room, stress and worry and anxiety, and I never want a woman or a family to feel that I can't cope with what's happening, because I want them to know I can cope with anything that's happening.
My manner has always been a person who, under pressure, is very calm, collected. I'm a very concrete thinker, so I don't catastrophise and make it bigger than Ben-Hur. It's like, this is what we've got, this is what I can do, let's do it. Whilst we met many staff during our son's illness, Alison was one of the most caring individuals who constantly checked on us both during our son's journey and when it was his final time. I just did my job. I was asked to go and see this patient and his family, so I got my bag and I went. To find out that I made such an impact was surprising, that I could make that sort of an impact on one person's life. It was, huge.
So Mike, would you please do the honours?
Thank you. The winner of the Healing Heart Consumer Award for 2021 is Alison Miller from Illawarra Shoalhaven.
Having won this award, I feel very humbled, proud and surprised. I thank the family member of the patient that I treated for this nomination. I avoided palliative care. Personally in my career, I was always very afraid of it because I knew that it was sad, and my nurse unit manager tried to get me to come over. She must have seen something in me that would make a good palliative care nurse, and then the opportunity came up. You know that this loved one, this patient who's loved by all these people, is going to die, but you don't want that lasting memory to be a bad one. You just sort of think, yeah, I did a good job there, and I'm leaving the family to have their precious time in a situation that is calmer and more settled, and there's a peace.
Congratulations to our newest Healing Heart Consumer Award recipient, Alison Miller, a nurse who lives and breathes the values of exceptional care every time. And a huge heartfelt congratulations to all of our winners and finalists for 2021. Mike, thank you so much for being here with us today. So if you're a nurse or a midwife, I want to specifically thank you today and ask you to keep doing what you're doing to support our community and in helping to keep us all safe. Please know that we're all very deeply grateful. So we'll see you for the 2022 Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Awards later this year. Nominations will open for the 2022 awards in May, so don't miss the opportunity to nominate an amazing midwife or a nurse that you know. Wherever you are watching in New South Wales, thank you for being with us to celebrate every nurse and midwife in New South Wales Health, and in celebrating the wonderful finalists and winners that we've all met today. Their daily dedication and the difference that they make is worthy of recognition and of celebration.
Where are you going to put your trophy?
In the pool room. No.
Where will I put my trophy?
Oh, there's a trophy.
Do most people take them home?
I'd like my trophy to be everywhere with me, just to remind me that I can make a difference.
We do have like a nurse leadership group office. That could be a good place.
We'll probably go in a private place in our home.
Oh, in the lounge room right next to the TV?
Well, we've just had our house renovated, so I'm sure that I can find a brand new wall to put it on.
With the trophy, it will be placed on my bookshelf, which is full of midwifery books, because that's what I read on my time off.
It'll certainly be in the backdrop of all my team or Zoom meetings that we have.
I would definitely take my trophy home and show my parents and my grandparents.
I think it's significant that it stands alone and out there so that people can see it as soon as they walk to the nurse's station.
I think in terms of where I'll put the trophy, I will probably place it on top of my other prized possession, which is my air fryer.
Somewhere that just inspires all the future learners out there so they can see it and go, yep, I can be that person.